couple SCVs building a couple of buildings. So Leta, you know, that's another thing that I like that he does, is just being able to send in small groups to do, you know, he pulls a lot of harassment out of just a couple of vultures, even late in the game, so that just about all of his units are able to do huge amounts of damage. In the meantime, Leta is content to just try to defend right outside of his base, while Midas is pushing out a little bit, trying to get a little bit of an extra bit of map control, and it looks like that is because he is trying to expand again. He's putting up his third base over there in the 9 o'clock position. Leta's still just sitting on 2. I don't think he is ready quite yet to put down a third. It looks like he might be doing that over at the 3 o'clock. He might be getting ready to do that. But so far, it looks like Midas wants to continue with his slight economic lead, and this is really going to come down to a classic TVT expansion and expansion denial game.
Yeah, we'll see who gets the bigger control group of wraiths, basically, to go slow these expansions down. Right now, I'd say it's Midas. Yeah, Leta sort of playing catch-up on the economic game. I feel like so far in this game, he's had the advantage, you know, whenever the units sort of meet up and attack each other. Like, he's able to get his vultures in, you know, despite hitting tanks, run by them, but just not kill too many units. It looks like, was he able to kill the SCV and stop
he killed
that?
the workers, so he's definitely delayed this expansion going up at the 9 o'clock. I think his expansion might have been delayed a little bit too because of some vultures from Midas. But yeah, I think Leta has given up on the air game. He has conceded air control to Midas right now. Midas has built up a pretty good control group of wraiths, and Leta is just going for Goliaths to supplement his tanks and vultures. He's going into a more classic you know, tank and vulture build for a TVT. So those wraiths are out, but that means those dropships are going to be in a little bit of danger. There, he finally brings in some Goliaths to help defend that dropship. But he needs to keep his dropships alive because they are going to really be the deciding factor in terms of mobility when both of these players are trying to get expansions, and it's really going to become critical once one of these players tries to get the base up in the northern position. That's a thing that I love about 3-player maps, is that one extra base. You know, both players start out and they've got their natural, they've got probably a secondary expansion that they can get.
Very nice by Leta.
Yeah, lucky Shell's going there, getting a lot of kills on those tanks, so coming out with another little bit of advantage right there. But yeah, like I was saying, just in 3-player maps, that one extra starting position, it always comes down to who wants that more and who can establish themselves that. And those dropships and their mobility is really going to help decide who can be able to hold that.
Yeah, I think that despite some of his ineffectiveness right now, Leta's sniping ability really paying off. It looks like Midas' fourth expansion delayed up there in the 10 o'clock position.
Oh yeah, he's got some spider mines there to keep Midas from building there, so Midas wants to put down his fourth but cannot. Leta is still just on 3. He has got his third finished. It looks like he's setting up to set up a fourth. That was a lot of setting ups.
He's looking to aiming to set up.
Yeah.
Maybe think about it.
Probably likely sometime in the next couple of weeks.
And those dropships look pretty strong for exactly. Nope. I was thinking maybe they would go to protect the extra player spot, but he's just going to build in, I think, on that third expansion.
Yeah, I think he's going to go aggressive. He might try at that fourth base. He might decide that there's nothing there and go all the way into the third. They are a little bit vulnerable because there are a lot of Goliaths in the area. I don't want those Goliaths to get He drops a single vulture.
Nice.
Very smart there. And Leta going all the way into the main base because there are no units there left to defend. So he's dropping a couple of tanks and a couple of vultures back in the back lines. I wish he had sieged those up closer to the mineral lines. They're not quite able to defend, and those drop ships might go down. One of them goes down from the Goliaths that are there, but he has set up shop in the back of Midas's base. He has got a couple of tanks sieged up. He's got vultures laying mines everywhere. Just a wraith out there to defend against it, and all of those SUVs had to be pulled from the line. Finally, Midas bringing in some tanks to come in and deal with this, but it's still hard to move into sieged up tanks, and he's taking more losses than I'm sure he wants to. So Leta being able to do another good harassment later on in this game, and in the meantime, he has been able to set up his 4th base, and so he is on 4 bases up and running, while Midas is, I believe, still trying to get his 4th going.
Yeah, that was a great... I love how he dropped the 1 vulture. A great whole harassment sweep there through the western side.
Yeah, now that they showed it again, it looks like Midas might have even canceled that command center that he was building up the 4th, because it looks like he was rebuilding it.
Yeah.
Well, he had forces in the area.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he might have pulled those to drop them into his main.
It was probably close to in HP to where that vulture could have taken it out, so
yeah.
Cancel it, don't let the vulture get the kill.
I guess you're just burning minerals, though. I think he could have invented that in just 1 vulture. But anyways, Leta still, he is constantly being on the aggressive, which is great, and he's moving here once again to try to stop this 4th base of Midas's from going up. In the meantime, Midas is pushing in on Leta's siege lines, and he has a more sizable force, but great tank drops right on that group of siege tanks for Midas. I don't know if it's quite enough. Oh yes, just that last volley is the perfect amount to wipe out the rest of those tanks. And so Leta being able to defend his front door while simultaneously harassing at the 4th base of Midas. It looks like that 4th base finally got up, but there's still no SCVs there for Midas. Leta is mining off of 4 bases, and he is going to take that that extra northern starting position right now.
Yeah, and that's really I don't know, emblematic of the way Leta plays. He didn't move dropships up there to protect it. What he does is advance and attack and throws you off guard, then he'll expand. He's not going to necessarily protect it first, he's going to put you on the defensive so you won't go after it.
Yeah.
And, I think that's what's really giving Leta the edge right now in this game, is his aggressive stance. And Midas, has been strong and steady, but not as aggressive. And so now we have Leta with a base advantage and another huge drop coming up.
Yeah, he's got a lot of dropships up there, and they're ready to do a lot of damage, which is good. He's scanning right there, so I think Midas knows that this is coming. I think Leta's actually dropping back because he saw all of those turrets actually just dropping straight up in that little valley that comes into that base. This is sort of like the 3rd base if you were starting at the northern position. So it's that little area that he dropped in is between that 3rd base and the natural expansion of the northern position. Meanwhile, Midas has done a good job. He's taken the 6 o'clock base there, which is actually one of the bases that you would typically expect Leta to take. And I think that's just a little bit more easily defendable than, trying to go and attack one of Leta's established bases to steal it from him at the moment. I think he's going to be able to defend this for a little bit, but once Leta decides that he wants to move in, I think he just has overwhelming numbers right now. He's running off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases, maybe, 5 bases right now.
Another drop just to take out a defensive line. Leta not really concerned about dropping on the mineral lines at this stage, just sort of wearing down the defensives at all areas of the map.
Yeah, just
those dropships came from a long ways away.
Using his economy and his production capabilities to just wither down Midas's army right now. This is like classic Terran play, putting on the stranglehold right now. And I think by now Leta has a commanding lead in this game. Just using 6 Goliaths right there to walk down into that base that I was going to say was more easily defendable for Midas. Just 6 Goliaths walking in and completely killing it. Midas finally brought some tanks in, which were able to clear out those 6 Goliaths, but he just didn't do it in time.
And we finally got a chance to see Midas's dropship, so we'll see if Midas is able to sort of adapt the strategy here and pull some dropship aggression, because that's the only thing that's going to keep him in this game.
Yeah, Leta is still up there at the sort of 10 o'clock position in between the northern bases, natural and 3rd, and he's still sieging on that base that Midas has set up. That was Midas's 4th is what I'm trying to call it. And so that base is up and running, but it is still under attack, so it's in a very vulnerable position. Midas looking like he's trying to do a little bit of counterattack damage right now.
Oh, he's going to drop on those spider mines?
Yeah, drops on a couple of mines, and yeah, I just don't think he dropped enough forces. Maybe he's going to be able to clear out Leta's tanks with those Goliaths. I think he is, but Leta at the same